This is the castle that inspired one of the most famous castles in the world, and it has a story that is truly incredible. While the set is unlike anything we've ever seen before, does it live up to the real thing? I'm so excited to share with you. First, I'm gonna get into my rating, and then my review, and then my final thoughts, and you'll be on your way to the next video. Let's get into it. This usually would be the part of the video where I'm like picking up the set and saying, I do my ratings on a number of metrics to help you figure out if this set is right for you. But genuinely, like, I don't even know how to pick this up. What makes this one weird to hold, by the way, is it's like hollow in the center, and I don't want to snap a nail. That would just not be ideal. Skill, 8 out of 10. This one is not beginner friendly. I did it all in one day and my brain was fried afterwards. For one, the length on this thing is insane. It's over 3,500 pieces. Like, that is a huge set. It takes so long to build. I definitely added points to the difficulty score because of that. Also, like, the way that this is not a box, and like, can you kind of see like the curve that's going on in this? There's some build techniques in there for sure. This whole set is not a box in the slightest, which definitely makes it aesthetically very beautiful, but build-wise makes it a tad weird. There was also like weird techniques, like right here in the singer's balcony, what are those called? Those aren't called trusses. I'm gonna remember in a second, but those, like the build technique on that was really weird. There's just like a lot of very interesting build techniques used here. Corbels! Corbels! That's what I was looking for. That's what those are called. There's a lot of weird techniques, but good news, this build is not repetitive at all. Aesthetics, 7 out of 10. I cannot decide on this one. There's parts of this that I really, really love, and there's parts of this I'm like, why did they do that? Zoomed out, the set looks fantastic, and it probably looks really great from where you're at, but the closer you get to it, the weirder the aesthetics get. I'm gonna start off with the things I love, because positivity. 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 The fall tree and the normal tree option looks awesome. We are heading into fall, so I'm leaving it with the fall tree option. The singer's balcony here, I love that. It looks incredible. I really honestly love the way all the towers coming up look and how good of a job they did with the different levels in the architecture. The blue dot over here is the grotto, and I love its inclusion because like that's a really cool spot of architecture and a small detail that I'm happy made it. Also, the rock work on this thing is insane and it looks pretty good. Not accurate, but it does look good. The stuff I'm kind of neutral on. The roofline is not black. It's supposed to be a dark blue or like a navy blue, and they changed it to black. They do have a lot of navy blue pieces, so I'm guessing this must have been something where they tried it with the navy blue and it didn't look as good. This set does not look as in the middle of a forest as the actual castle does. This very much is giving it the portrayal that it is on a cliff, and it is on a giant mountainside, but like that mountainside is covered in trees. I'm not sure if this was done because there was no way to scale it down and get that tree and like the detail on it, so that could be some of it too. It's also missing some paintings, but again, I'm not sure if that's just because they couldn't get it to look right or they didn't want to put in any stickers. There's no stickers. But when you look closer, I don't like the mix of like the printed flat pieces and then these printed like curved pieces. It looks really weird to me. And then not to mention like these little like half dome curved pieces don't always want to place super straight, so then it's a tedious process to fix. I think these sucked so much for building that when I'm looking at it, it's ruining the aesthetic just to know like how annoying they were. I have to go back through and fix some of them and straighten them back out, which is kind of an annoying thing to go do. This grass patch right here, you can see it because it pops out really well. I don't get what's going on with that. If I'm being honest, I don't like the exposed stud look of it, and the color just looks entirely off to me. I still really like this and I think it looks incredible, and some of this is also where I'm placing it in my house for sure, but there are some like little issues with it. Durability, 8 out of 9. That is so surprising to me, but like literally I feel like I've been like flipping it around and I'm only being careful because the whole middle of it is hollow and I'm trying not to snap a nail, because I've done that too many times recently. But like it does pretty well. The fact that I can hold it completely like at an angle, 90-degree angle like this is pretty good. Usually I feel like I give most sets a 7 out of 10, which means like it's kind of average and handles well, but like this one, it handles really well, especially for a big set, and that is very nice. It does have a few small pieces that can be knocked off, like especially these little trees, which makes sense because you are supposed to be able to replace out like, oops, hold on, that one. These ones can also kind of be pulled off, but not quite as easy as these ones can. I'm trying to look in the viewfinder because I don't want to turn my head and like smack it with my face. There's only so much durability it has. It's not a 10 out of 10. They do a really good job with this one of securing together the rock work, especially with the way this is done. This rock work is done in chunks and you would never know, and the castle is secured so well into it. I wouldn't drop test this because of the amount of time it took me to do it, but this is very solid. Value, 8 out of 10. I do this metric solely based on the price per brick. Sometimes I call them bricks and pieces interchangeably. Sorry about that, but just know I'm referring to the same thing. There are some factors that can affect a set's price per brick. One is license IP. Typically, an architecture set does not have this issue, but this one does. There is a trademark associated with this, so I'm sure LEGO had to acquire the trademark to be able to make this set. And then custom pieces. Now, there are a ton of custom printed pieces. Thank you, LEGO, for the no stickers. Thank you so much. But besides that, I didn't recognize any custom pieces, but there's like a lot of pieces in this one, so there's a good chance I missed something. Normally, a set's price per brick will range anywhere from 6 cents to 12 cents per brick. This set costs $279.99 and has 3,544 pieces, giving this an 8-cent price per brick, which I'm totally fine with, if I'm being honest. I'm honestly, like, there's a great amount of pieces that you're getting for this, and like with the trademark, very happy with 8 cents. Time, 10 out of 10. I only do this metric based off of how many bricks I'm placing per hour relative to my average. Usually I can place anywhere from 350 to 425 bricks per hour, unless it's a Technic, because those are a whole other thing. This has 3,544 bricks and took me 8 hours and 10 minutes, meaning I averaged about 433 bricks per hour. Honestly, I am 90% sure I'm right, but I had to triple check this because there was a few spots where I messed up and it took me a while to undo it, so I'm surprised it was moving that fast. And as I mentioned earlier, this set is not repetitive and it's organized in a very unique way where there's not really like a part where you're like, oh, I just did this, I can do this again. Even with the rock work. So like very surprised. Joy, 9 out of 10. I'm putting this next to my Disney castle and I've been so excited. Since I saw this, I knew it was gonna go right next to that. By the way, I do have a video review coming on that like next week, I think is what I have it slated for. And I'm very excited. Honestly, don't ask me why I gave this such a high score. I can't explain it, but I really found it joyful despite how annoying the windows were. I had to stop during 2 points of my building and honestly, like I was itching to get back to it, even though the windows were bugging the crap out of me, which to me signifies I was still having a really good time with this. This is organized so well, and probably that's a big factor in why I found this so joyful. Overall, B tier. I love this set despite its flaws. I'm not an expert on Neuschwanstein, nor am I gonna pretend to be. So if you are, you're probably gonna find inaccuracies in this and not like it. Not to mention, if you already hate the window feature, you're gonna hate it while you're building it. So I think that the appeal for this one might be more limited than other sets. However, if you feel drawn to the set and you have the finances to do it, I would recommend it. It is really fun. Don't ask me why, I can't explain, but it's just done so well. This is kind of a divisive set, so let's talk about it. Okay, so this set is 23 bags, but technically you could either skip over bag 22 or 23. I'm realizing that might have skewed the time metric a little bit. I'm guessing because bag 22 and bag 23 are pretty much the same, but different colors. Had I done both, it would have taken a maximum of 8 hours and 30 minutes instead of the 8 hours and 10 minutes it took. That's also being a bit generous because bag 23 only took me 17 minutes. That would lower my bricks per hour to 416 bricks, which would still be a 9 out of 10, so it isn't that big of a deal. I was just flying through this. As I said earlier, the rock work was done in different chunks, so it makes the sections kind of hard to decipher. There's towers that are whole parts of this build, but then at the same time, you'll build chunks of the base, then chunks of the castle, then chunks of the base, then chunks of the castle. So I'm gonna make this really simple and say no sections. The LEGO booklet for this one is huge and includes 620 steps. The parts list alone takes up 4 pages. I mentioned earlier that I was very excited to put my Neuschwanstein castle next to my Disney castle, which might sound like a random thing to throw out, but hear me out. So Disneyland was a one-of-a-kind theme park, really the first of its kind in the world. When it opened, there were 2 iconic things from the park missing. I mean, like a lot has changed with the parks, but the 2 things were Matterhorn and Sleeping Beauty's castle, both of which were inspired by Walt Disney's travels to Europe and some creative problem solving. But the design of Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle is inspired by Neuschwanstein Castle. I'd argue the rest of the castles are inspired by either Sleeping Beauty's castle or straight up just other castles. But if you've seen the Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland, you can absolutely see the inspiration. While I'm not 100% an expert on Neuschwanstein, not even an expert at all, honestly, I did want to share some things I learned during research. 1, the castle is absolutely stunning in person, and because of its placement, The best place to see the full castle is on Mary's Bridge. I spent probably about 2 hours watching travel vlogs of people visiting it, and it just looks amazing. If it looks so amazing on camera, I can only imagine how stunning it is in real life. I'm sure there are some people out there who didn't like it, but in everything I read, I had not come across anyone who didn't like it. 2. There are some similarities in its story to Hearst Castle, which this kind of hits close to home for me because I literally just visited Hearst Castle for the first time. The US, relative to all of Europe, is a relatively new country, so you'd correctly guess that obviously the story of Neuschwanstein comes first. But surprisingly, the stories aren't that far off in history. The 2 men who created them were even briefly alive at the same time. Neuschwanstein was created by King Ludwig II. No, not that Ludwig. He was the king of Bavaria, which is now a part of Germany. I'm a little confused on that, admittedly. He had a lot of nicknames, including the Fairy Tale King and the Mad King. He ascended to the throne at only 18 and pretty much went bankrupt building this castle among other castles. If you know the story of Hearst Castle, it'll sound a little bit similar. Hearst Castle was constructed by William Randolph Hearst. Towards the end of his life, he was recklessly spending money on Hearst Castle, constantly tweaking it. Hearst was born in 1964 and Ludwig died in 1986. So their timelines aren't that dissimilar. Both men were unable to finish their castles and had heavy themes of religion throughout them. Hearst Castle is definitely an architecture set I really hope we get in the future. There's so many amazing details on the thing, and if you're ever out in California, I'd highly recommend seeing it. There were some obvious differences in the men. For one, William Randolph Hearst loved hosting, and King Ludwig II barred visitors from his castle. Both of their stories kind of remind me when you hand money, like a lot of money, to someone who is financially irresponsible, but adores art and the finer things in life. Before this set, I really only knew about the castle because I love theme parks and I grew up driving distance from Disneyland. Plus, I loved creepypastas as a teen, and there were so many about Disney. It actually inspired me to learn more about the park's history. Anywho, that kind of took a weird turn. There is one other version of Neuschwanstein Castle that this set keeps getting compared to, and I don't think it's 100% of the same caliber. Both are scaled down because, duh, nobody is out here building a multi-story palace out of Lego bricks. But a Lego, I guess you could call him a master builder by the name of Felix Macy, created his own version of Neuschwanstein Castle. This came out long before Lego set did, but albeit I don't know when Lego first decided to create this, but we do know it took Macy about 2 years to create and it's been out for over a year. But why are these not in the same light, you might ask? Felix sells his design on Rebrickable for around $200, which seems comparable to the Lego set, but there's no pieces included. The Lego official set is 3,544 pieces, and his is 57,640 pieces. So they're both scaled down, but not to the same extent in the slightest. Low-key, this would be amazing to build and display, but it's like 6 feet long, and there's no spot in my house for that to reasonably go. Well, I guess I don't need a dining room table. He also said for an experienced builder working 8 hours a day to complete this, it would take 20 days to complete. So that's literally insane. I would have to stop the channel for a month to reasonably work on this, and even still, I have no idea how on earth I would film all of that. I don't know if you realize this, but I film in 4K, and the footage from that is extremely large. My Disney Castle build, which I'm still sorting through all the footage to line up all the camera angles, needed a 4 terabyte external hard drive to work off of because my 2 terabyte ones couldn't cut it. Even then, side note, I was working on lining up the footage today and I spent an hour and I still didn't even get through lining up all the footage from that one. That build was probably a maximum of 16 hours, which would be 2 days worth of this build, so that is not happening anytime soon. There were some things from his I do wish the Lego design team had also chosen to bring into their design. There's a painting on the wall inside the courtyard I wish was brought in. There's also a lot more of what I think are called pedamental sculptures that I wish were included as well. It's on the Macy version, but like 57,000 bricks will do all that extra detail work. I don't want to be all negative, so I do want to talk about the extra details they did include that were really fun while building. I mentioned there were rooms within this set that they chose to include, and those are the throne room, the king's bedroom, the settee, and the floor plan. It also said there were secret packages. I know Lego isn't lying, but genuinely, I don't remember any secret passages, so maybe they just kept it secret from me. I don't know. Most likely, though, I was so locked in that I just was placing bricks and didn't notice it. As you're seeing this, you probably are getting a better idea of the window situation. If you're seeing this from the video and hate it, you will hate it. Personally, I'm straightening all of them out after this video, so it won't bother me. Plus, I'll show you after where this set is going, and I have a funny feeling you'll understand exactly why it doesn't bother me. Also, because it's basically fall, I chose the fall version of the set. I might just leave it though. I love the way the color plays off the set and fall. So my final thoughts, it's a fun build, and if you like it and you have the money for it, build it. If you're an architecture buff and the issues bother you, don't build it. But let me show you where this is gonna go. I'm so excited. Anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for choosing to watch my videos out of all the videos on YouTube. It seriously means the world to me. I will be coming out with channel memberships very, very soon. So please let me know if you have any ideas for perks, because I'm definitely still debating those ideas of like different things I could add. So let me know what you would want to see down in the comments below. If you watched the video to this point, let's include the word autumn in your comment and I'll give it a little heart. Because I think that would be fun. Just like work it in there subtly, because it's my favorite whenever people are like, why is everyone commenting the word Zen and they don't get it? Oh, my camera cut out. My Disney Castle video will be coming soon, so if you want to see that, definitely click subscribe. And with that said, smash like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Oh, also I have a haul video coming out on Tuesday, so you'll want to see that. I actually just filmed it. Bye!